Giti, I should begin. Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to the webinar on maintaining eye health in the digital age. I am Dr. Sharda Sharma, the host for today's webinar. We all realize the importance of good health. When it comes to physical or mental health, we are all cautious and are inclined to take precautionary measures so that we do not face the hazards of an unhealthy lifestyle. Depending on our own level of motivation, our own level of commitment and dedication, we have our medications, workouts, and exercises as preventive measures. But with the COVID-19 pandemic hitting us really hard in different ways, our children who have taught us how to take things in our stride are the ones who always resort to molding and adapting themselves to the new ways that we as adults put in front of them. But this time we haven't put a very healthy device in front of them, and that is the digital gadget. With the online classes going full throttle, what are the hazards that we are exposing our future citizens to? What are the possibilities of avoiding these hazards? And what are the precautionary and timely measures that can be taken so that we are better safe than sorry? To answer these questions and educate us further with almost everything related to eye care, we have with us today two vision care experts, eminent doctors from the field of ophthalmology, Dr. Hemlata Vidyashankar and Dr. B. Vidyashankar. I have the privilege of introducing Dr. B. Vidyashankar, an eye specialist who pursued his MBBS and post-graduation and specialization from Mumbai and from UK. He completed his long-term fellowship in oculoplasty, orbit and ocular oncology from Chennai. He has an experience of close to 18 years in this field and has performed more than 10,000 surgeries so far. Oculoplasty deals with problems pertaining to the eyelids, lacrimal system, orbit and aesthetic lid surgery. He has a rich experience in ptosis surgery, which is the drooping of eyelids, management of orbital fractures and all lid surgeries. He is very proficient in facial aesthetics and cosmetic surgery around the eyes. Dr. Vidyashankar's special interest is in ocular oncology and management of cancers of the eye, the orbit, the lids, and the face. He is an invited expert speaker for various international and national ophthalmology conferences and postgraduate training programs. He has several publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals and has contributed to chapters in medical textbooks. He has trained several fellows in oculoplasty, orbit and ocular oncology under him. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Vidyashankar.
Thank you so much, madam, for the kind words.
Thank you. Along with him, we also have Dr. Hemlata Vidyashankar. Dr. Hemlata pursued her MBBS from Chennai and her post-graduation and specialization from Mumbai. She completed Sir Ratan Tata Fellowship Cataract Microsurgery, that is the basic and advanced from Chennai, where she further pursued her long-term fellowship in pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus. She has an experience of more than a decade in treating children with eye problems. She specializes in pediatric cataract surgery with IOL implantation and all types of squint surgeries. She has performed a vast number of eye surgeries in children. Her special interests are in amblyopia, that is the lazy eye therapy, and binocular vision therapy and treatment of congenital nasolacrimal duct obstruction. She has keen interest in genetic eye diseases affecting the children's eyes. Dr. Hemlata is also proficient in adult microphacosurgery in routine and complex cataract surgery with premium intraocular lenses and has trained several postgraduate students in the art of cataract surgery. She is an invited speaker, expert speaker for various national ophthalmology conferences and postgraduate training programs. She has conducted several CMEs and hospital-based training programs. Dr. Hemlata is loved by children and parents for a warm demeanor. Kids enjoy her calm and friendly personality. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Hemlata and Dr. Vidyashankar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharda. It's a pleasure being here, especially a topic very close to our hearts, that is the eye health of children. Yeah, so let's begin.
Thank you so much. So, as we see the growing concern, doctors, related to the eye health these days, we would all want you to throw light upon a few possibilities that will help us maintain good eye health. We are all aware that the sun can hurt our eyes, but most of us are not very clear about the effect of other bright lights like handheld digital gadgets, like the computer screens and the like. In this regard, can you please help us understand how does the screen time affect the eyes?
Yeah, so the screen time, when we talk about screen time, there are two things. One is a computer, which is a little larger screen, and then there is a mobile, which is a smaller screen. So when a child looks at a gadget, normally children are used to looking at a blackboard, which is quite far from them. So now they are looking at a gadget, the screen in terms of either a computer or a mobile, which is close to the eye. So this distance plays a lot of important role, because whenever we look at a farther distance, our eyes are put to rest. But whenever we look at something closer, we need to strain more. So the distance per se itself causes some amount of eye strain. Another thing is, when we are looking at a gadget, there is a lot of bright light which is coming from the background of the screen. That is the blue light. Now this light, when a child is exposed to for a very long time, it's detrimental to the development of their vision. The third important thing is, like, when a child looks at a digital screen, or for that matter, any person looks at a digital screen, we are looking with a lot of concentration, and without realizing, we are staring at the screen. So this significantly reduces our blink reflex. Now, why this blink reflex is important is, in our eyes, tears are formed, which keeps the eye lubricated, and also it gives nutrition to the eyes. So when we are looking at a screen and we are staring, so our blink reflex is not happening, as a result of which the eyes become dry. So the dryness of the eyes, excessive light, and also the distance that have to look at something which is very close to our eyes. In all these ways, it affects the eyes. Also, if a child is sitting on a bed, keeping the laptop in his lap, or he's lying down and looking at it, the posture of the child is also affected. It's very important during the developmental phase of children to have a proper posture. So in addition to eye strain, they can have neck ache, shoulder ache, back pain, which will also contribute to their problems.
All right. So based on what, yes, doctor, are you saying something?
No, you can proceed, ma'am.
All right. So based on what you have just stated, Dr. Hemlata, what are the precautions that we can take, especially for our children?
Yeah, this, if I can take this question, this
Yes.
basically, it comes to something which we otherwise in technical terms call it as computer vision syndrome. It is for any gadget, it's for any visual device that we are concentrating on. There is something which we call as the 20-20-20 rule. That is, after every 20 minutes, we ask the child, or we ask the person, whoever is dealing with this digital device, to look at something which is distant, which is probably 20 feet away, and also blink 20 times. Yeah. So by this, we are taking care of two things. One is the coating of the cornea by the tears, and secondly, looking at something distance, so that what we do reading is accommodation. We are basically trying to relax the accommodation. So one thing that I would strongly recommend is have a very short break. Just move around. Don't look at the device for at least half a minute, and you would be good to continue for some more time. That's number one. Second, we try and reduce the contrast and the brightness of the screen. Whenever we do lighting, there is something called as brightness, there is something called as luminosity and things like this. So we would like to have as less contrast as possible. At the same time, we should be able to try and decipher what is written. And at the same time, even try and reduce the illumination, so that the strain on the eye will be less. Whenever we deal for these classrooms, many times it is in the class where a lot of the climate is cold because of the AC. the AC would generally dry the air. So in order to keep the air a little moist, if we can't keep a humidifier, then we just keep a bowl of water or some a wet cloth, a wet towel, which is somewhere close by. That will increase the humidity in the surrounding our screens. And also for the ergonomics, the children are short or small, so their leg may not be actually touching the floor. So if we can keep something as a support on their leg, give them some support for their hand, either on the table or the armrest on the chair, these things will go a long way in keeping them comfortable, basically. And nowadays, when most of the things are online, I think this would definitely help. And the easiest way to keep the eyes moist is just splashing some cold water on it.
All right. Thank you so much. So with regard to the number of hours that the children should be exposed to in front of the screen, though the education department has given us, the schools, the different sets of time limit for different age groups, which is for grade 3 to 5, it is 1 hour daily, grade 6 to 8, it is 2 hours daily, and grade 9 to 12, it is 3 hours daily, that we will soon be implementing. What, according to you, would be the ideal screen time that you would want to advise for various ages?
See, there are very specific guidelines by the Indian Academy of Pediatrics regarding screen time for children. Okay. Now, these guidelines were formed both in consideration of their visual demands, and also, like before COVID, the children were seeing the digital screen only for entertainment purpose. They were not doing too much of studies on the screen. So this screen activity earlier was a passive activity. That child is playing a game and there is no interaction. But now the screen activity is actually an interactive activity. So less than 2 years of age, we say that a child should not be exposed to screen time at all. So except for maybe a video call with the family for a few seconds, which make them feel connected. So in nursery, we generally say nursery or maybe up to grade 1, there is no need for any online classes. And 2 to 12 years of age, that is till the child is up to 6th grade, the allowed screen time is up to 2 hours. So the guidelines which you had mentioned, they are perfectly fitting in with the recommendations by the association. And children more than 12 years old, that is 12 to 16 years old, they can see a screen time of 3, maximum 4 hours. So this particular schedule which you are following is correct. Only thing we need to remember is now a child during weekdays when he is having these classes. Nowadays children unfortunately cannot go out and play. So for playing also they resort to these devices only. They want to play some game or they want to see some program. So we should strictly enforce that the days you have these online classes, especially classes where you are continuously on the screen, you should not be seeing too much of screen time for recreational activities. If at all we want to give them half an hour, 45 minutes, that should not be in continuation with the school. Suppose in the morning they have school, then the screen time should be given late in the evening where they have adequately taken rest. So the continuous screen time is what which needs to be avoided, and because that puts a lot of strain on the eyes. Once you take some rest in between, then you can resume your screen time again.
All right. So, doctor, when we were kids, and we were introduced to the TV screens and computer screens in our 80s and 90s, we remember putting an external blue screen to protect our eyes. These days, while we know that computers come with inbuilt filters, are the blue block glasses or glasses with various filters helpful?
See, whenever we talk about these glasses or protective devices, most of even the normal glass of a spectacle will reduce the amount of radiations which is getting into the eye. That is, those radiations which are close to the visible spectrum. But when we look at the computer devices and the mobiles and things like that, they also emit rays which are a little more than that. So in order to avoid those harmful rays, especially the ones which is closer to the ultraviolet spectrum, the blue spectrum of the visible spectrum, blue block glasses will help. What we call are these Crookes filters, which can be, they are basically going to be made from Crookes glasses into which the refraction is going to be grinded. So it is not something which is going to be flipped on to the glasses, but the glasses are made from those, from that material which contains the blue block. That's number one. There are other ways of reducing the radiations also. One such is adding on the anti-reflective coating. This also reduces the amount of radiations, harmful radiations getting into the eye. The third way of reducing the radiation is to basically be away, a little more distant from the device, because this way the amount of radiations getting into the eye will be less.
One more thing I would like to suggest is that instead of a phone, PC is always better. Nowadays, many people also have a smart TV where you can mirror the app. So if they have a smart TV, then they can use that for the classes, because the bigger is the screen, the farther you can go from the screen. You can increase your font size. So the farther you are the screen, the better it is. So the bigger device a person can use, the better it would be.
All right, sure. So I'm sure the parents are taking these points into consideration, that they can mirror the screens of either the mobiles or the laptops or their PCs to the TV screens, which are larger and or the bigger in size. So doctors, I am sure there are various ways to take care of our eyes, and we are very limited in our knowledge with regard to this. What would you suggest? How do we relax our eyes?
See, for relaxing the eyes, it's very, very important to give our eyes adequate amount of rest. So sleep is very important, especially 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep at night is very, very important. Nowadays, what happens is most of the people are at home. There is no hurry to get up early in the morning. So many people see the TV or mobile or shows for a very long time. Now, if this child had to get up and go to the school at 8 o'clock, maybe we would put them to sleep at 9 o'clock. Nowadays, we are also a little relaxed. But for a child, especially in growing age, the sleep is very important, because it is during this phase of deep sleep that all the hormones related to the growth are released. So in order to take care of eyes, the most important thing is to have a good night's sleep. Another important thing is that we should maintain proper hydration. When a child goes to school, they do a lot of physical activity. So by default, they feel thirsty and they have water. When they are at home, especially when in front of screen, sometimes you don't feel so much thirsty. So it's very important to take care of their hydration, give them designated bottles that in a day you have to drink so much of water. And as I said, you have to take break. One thing which we can do is, like, children are more receptive to whatever the teachers tell. So if it's a 45 minutes class, then maybe in between the class, you can give a 2 minutes break. And teacher can do this activity. Okay, everyone has one glass of water. They can keep their water bottle with them. And the teacher and the students, everyone together can do this blinking part. So that will give a break from the continuous screen activity also. And it will also redistribute the tears in the eyes. It's very, very important to have good food, especially lots of green leafy vegetables, sprouts, salads. Nowadays, because we are at home and we can't go out, sometimes we also indulge our children in whatever junk food they want. Because they can't go out, we make it at home. So that's okay. But at the same time, you need to take care that they are having their adequate supply of green leafy vegetables, colored vegetables like carrot, pumpkin. You can give fruits like mango and papaya. So nutrition is very, very important. And suppose if you're very tired, it's a good idea to just splash water on your eyes so that the eyes get relaxed.
All right. So when it comes to taking care of our health, DPGA has always given priority to maintenance of good health, doctors. In this regard, at our school, we have regular health checkups when the regular school is on, regular health checkups of our staff, our students every year. And apart from that, all of us also get ourselves tested almost every month. But that is related only to the blood test or the other deficiencies which our bodies might be having. The eye being one of the most important organs of the body, as long as we are able to see clearly, we seldom go out of our way and to the extent of getting our eyes tested. But looking at all that has been discussed today, we understand the importance of it. So, how often do you think should children get their eyes checked?
Yeah, it's a very important requirement that a child should get its eyes checked periodically. Now, for this also there are set guidelines that a child should have at least 3 eye checkups before they start a formal school. The first eye checkup is generally done by the pediatrician when the child is born, and they check for a red reflex in the child's eye. Now, suppose sometimes you might notice that in photographs or accidentally when you see, if any child you see a white reflex coming from the eye, then that is a sign of an alert that you have to get an eye checkup done. Now, the next checkup is done when the child is around 2.5 years old before they start the preschool. Now, this checkup, why is it so important is before this age, the child's visual requirement is very less. They see maximum up to 1.5 meter distance, whatever is their mobile distance. And once they start going to the school, they look at the screen or they look at the TV or they look at the blackboard, and that is when their vision starts playing an important role. So most of the children at this age, if they have an inherent tendency to develop squint, they start developing squints also. Now, many times parents feel that a child who is just 2.5, 3 years old, who doesn't know any alphabets, is it possible to do an eye checkup? So for this, I want to say that whenever a pediatric ophthalmologist does your eye checkup, we do not rely on what the child gives as a response. Of course, the responses are important, but we have a lot of picture charts, we have a lot of methods in a play way where we can assess the child's vision. And we have many objective methods in which we can check whether they have a spectacle number or not. Another important checkup is around the age of 5 years when the child starts a formal school. Now, by this time, most of the children know how to read, and then we can check their vision. And if at all they need any help in form of glasses, exercises, we can advise it to them. Now, when a child is born, his vision is not completely formed. The vision of the child forms in the first 6 to 7 years of life as he sees things and the impulses go to the brain. Now, many children at this age tend to develop a lazy eye if the eye problem is only in one eye. Many times this is missed if the child's eyes are not checked because one eye is seeing properly. So the other eye, which is weak, is never noticed. So if we have a normal checkup at these 3 intervals, then we will come to know if there is a problem. Because any problem in a child's eye, the sooner you treat, the better are the results. After that, if a child has a spectacle number, you need to get them checked every 6 months. Because it's a growing eye, so your eye power and everything will keep on changing. And if the child doesn't have any spectacle number, then also the doctor will advise you a yearly checkup. Because as I said, it's a growing eye. The eyeball shape, size, everything is changing. The nutrition in this early age is very, very important. So when you go to an eye doctor, they'll check the health of the eye, the retina, everything. So this schedule has to be followed, that either 6 monthly or a yearly checkup till the child is 18 years old, we have to do.
All right. So apart from whatever you have stated now, doctor, we have during the online classes, we have different co-curricular activities also conducted like yoga, music, dance, and all those things. For a few classes, it is couple of times weekly, and maybe once a week for the other classes. What would you recommend on extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities, doctor?
This is a very good way of having a holistic development in a child.
Thank you.
One, it is improving the physical fitness of the child. 2, that will increase the concentration on the more study-related topics. 3, it will have a good mix with the parents also, because they would take home from here, teach their parents. Suppose if the child likes dancing and the parents don't know, they will pick it up from the school and take it up over there. So they will be able to have a good type of a mix with the family also, with the extracurricular activities. So it's definitely a good way of doing it. If it is going, some schools have it during the week, some schools have it in the weekends. So both ways it would help. I would probably say that we can have it once in the week also, once or twice in the week as well as in the weekends. Because weekends is where they will mix with the family, with the parents. Parents will have some more time to play and do these extracurricular and co-curricular activities with the children. So that way the bonding with the family would improve. I think this Corona, for some reason, has taught us quite a lot of good things also. It helps us to have a role model in the house, follow, give, share, have more of family time. So I guess this was necessary, and we are all making best use of it.
One more point I would like to add is children, especially younger children, they are very fond of their teachers. So the fact that they are not able to see their teachers, not able to see their friends, they are not able to go out and play also. So they have a feeling of isolation. So during these classes where there is extracurricular activity or a homeroom class where they can talk to the teachers, talk to their other friends, perform some activities as a group together, that gives them a lot of comfort and bonding. So that positive input will help them to tide over this period very successfully.
Okay. So all these such beautiful insights that we have gathered today, Doctor, taking all the above points into consideration, what are the most important takeaways from today's webinar that you would want the viewers to have?
Yeah, the most important thing is like you make sure that a child has a proper posture. We can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so a proper posture is very, very important. And the bigger screen you can think of, the better it is. And the child should be seated comfortably. Blinking or giving breaks in between the classes is very important. Sometimes what happens is there is a class from 9 to 9:45, then the next class is starting at 10. So when the child is locked down the computer, they want to play some games in this 15 minutes. So that should be totally avoided. They should be told that this break is to give break to your eyes. So you have to move away from the PC for that particular time. They can either have something to eat or drink or just go around their house and wash their face. So this will give a break from the screen. Next slide, please. You can adjust the contrast in brightness also so that the child is comfortable. It's not too bright a light. And as we had discussed before, definitely on weekdays, restrict your other online activities. Next slide, please. And very important, we can tell the children, don't watch computer, don't go out, don't do this, don't do that. But what will the child do? So parents need to put in a little extra effort of playing with their children, some games, involving them in some activities, maybe asking them to help out at home, so that the child is actively engaged in something constructive and they themselves do not feel the need to resort to the digital devices. Next slide, please.
This physical activities is going to help in the complete development of the child, and it will also remove their dependence of spending their time on digital screens. I think nowadays we have to do that. Our dependence is going to keep increasing more and more as we are going to see each of us very less so in person. But there has to be several other ways of doing that and having time off from the digital screen, and also keeping their house clean and other activities which can be made as part of fun. Always adding fun in their responsibilities is something which the child will take home much better rather than if something is being enforced on them. And the reading the storybooks and all is something which is a long gone area. I think we need to get them help them to inculcate that habit of sitting down and reading and doing the puzzles. And I think it's a long time since any one of us are doing these crosswords which used to come in the newspapers and things like that. These are some things that we can teach the child now so that it's a very good pastime and improves their vocabulary as well. So I guess all of this, if we are going to be telling the children, it's going to be a good way forward.
And also, all of us might have observed that whatever we may tell them, 100 times we tell them, they may not follow. But you show it in action, they will automatically absorb it without having to enforce it. So on our side, also, we should cut down our screen time so that children automatically feel, yeah, this is not something which is very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another important thing is that a spectacle number, of course, a child who has especially minus number, that keeps on increasing with the age because the eyeball is growing in size. So once, whenever you feel that your child is squeezing the eyes, now he's not able to read clearly, or he says, I'm making mistakes, or eyes are watering, do get them checked also whether the number has changed. Because wearing a wrong spectacle will also be putting an eye strain on them.
And many times the parents come and tell us that the child is going very close to the screen and seeing and things like that. He is obviously going close to the screen, possibly because he cannot see the screen clearly if there is going to be a distance between him and the screen. So these are small signs which tell us that yes, we probably require an eye checkup for the child. Also, if there is a sudden increase in the spurt of height and growth of the child, then you would also try and look at the increase in the myopia. There's going to be a family history. Again, that's going to be necessary for us to look. And the best persons to actually sound it to the parents would be the teachers.
Okay. So now while you were talking, Doctor, there were a few points that I wanted to ask you. And a couple of these have come up in the form of questions in our YouTube channel, if you allow me.
Yes.
Parents, teachers, in case you have any other questions, you can please post it into the YouTube link. One of the questions that Mr. Vaibhav Bhagat is asking is, can that special glasses, are those special glasses useful for kids also?
Yes, certainly. Anyone who is going to be looking at the digital screens for a very long time, probably even an hour or more in the day, is going to be definitely useful, and it can be incorporated into any prescription.
All right.
If the child is not having a spectacle number, suppose till now the child is not having a spectacle number, still you can buy a plain blue block glasses and make them wear it during their activity on computer.
Sure. So the other question is, don't the lesser brightness pits strain the eyes more? This is from Mr. Pankaj Jain.
No, it should not be too less that it will give rise to a strain. But definitely, if we are going to increase the contrast and brightness, it is going to be momentarily easy for us to read. But over a long period of time, it is definitely going to have a lot of eye strain and strain-related discomfort.
Sure.
That's the reason we say a bigger screen, because on bigger screen you can increase the font, so you can read it much more easily.
All right. One of the questions that has come up by Mr. Paras Nagda, asking that, does the Tratak Kriya help the child to improve eyesight? I'm not very sure whether this is included in your explanation.
What it is, I'm not aware, but there are a lot of things in yoga which help to relax the eye. Okay. Now, when I say about yoga, there are many eye yogas which are done which claim to reduce the number. I am not talking about that. That is beyond the scope of this discussion. But there are many eye yogas which will relax the eye. That is palming, looking at a far distance, moving the eye in various directions, holding your thumb. So all these asanas do help to relax the eyes and give comfort to the eyes. They can be done comfortably. So that definitely you can do. And yoga per se increases the child's concentration also. So it's good in all ways.
Tratak Kriya is something which basically improves, does a lot to improve the confidence as well as the concentration in the child. So yes, definitely it should.
All right. Can children use Kindle for reading storybooks? I guess that was already included in the explanation. The iPad or any other things could be used. And Miss Meenal is asking that my daughter is 6 years. She constantly complains of her eyes itching. And she rubs her eyes constantly. So is there any particular remedy for that?
Yeah, I think it will be two things. One is a basic dryness, which comes from using these digital devices for a long time. So if it's just plain simple dryness, using lubricating eye drops will help. And these eye drops are very safe. They're very similar to our natural tears. You can use them. But in this season, this especially this monsoon season, sometimes itching is also associated with an eye allergy or an eye infection. So if you notice there is a lot of watering, some discharge is coming, there is mild redness, then do get your child checked to rule out any infection or allergy. If it's just simple dryness, using a plain lubricating drop helps.
All right. Um, Doctor, apart from this, apart from the questions that I'm seeing here, there have been many other parents who have said that my child enjoys learning online, but then the moment she or he sits maybe beyond an hour or so, they start getting severe headache at times. So, what would be the remedy for this?
The computers are generally in the intermediate distance, from the close to the intermediate distance. If the screen devices are smaller, like iPads and phones, then you would the child probably is using it even closer to the face. So in such cases, there is what we call as convergence. When we are looking at the distance, our eyes are looking almost parallel. But when we look something close, for example, then the eyes are coming together. So whenever there is what we call as near point of accommodation or near point of convergence, if there is going to be a deficiency in this, then there is going to be an eye strain and a little bit of a frontal headache. That's what the child would complain, which they will take home to their parent and tell them that there is an eye strain, and they will become a little uncomfortable after an hour or so. In such cases, a simple exercise, they even tell it in yoga. If you can see me, they hold a finger or a pen like this, look at that, and gradually bring it closer, constantly looking at this point. When they bring it closer, if you can see, the eyes are coming closer to each other. At one point, this will start becoming a little blurred. So bring it only up to that point. Look here and look at the tip of the nose. Keep it for 8 seconds and then look back here and then look here again. So if they do this form of an exercise, then I think this headache part of it will be controlled and remedied as well.
Yeah,
and so yes, please continue.
As doctor mentioned, use a bigger screen at a farther distance, do the eye exercises, but still if it is not relieved, then do once get it checked whether there is no underlying spectacle number. That is, maybe a child didn't have it 6 months back, maybe he has developed it now. So just rule out that factor if these measures do not help.
Okay. The other question Mr. Purvesh Thakkar is asking is, from where can we get the blue block spectacles?
They should be available in good optical outlets. You have to mention when we are giving a prescription, or when if there is no prescription, you can take it off the shelf. These blue glass spectacles should be basically protective also. They should not be glass because glass can break. They are blue block basically in the form of plastics as well.
Okay. Another question is, how frequently should we use eye drops for children?
See, a lubricating drop can be used 2 to 3 times a day conveniently without any side effect.
There's no other reason for using the drops. Sometimes children have a problem for which they are recommended eye drops, and most of these lubricant drops are preservative free. So if they are preservative free, they can be used number of times. That's not an issue.
All right. After Tripti Makwana is asking that after screening, after seeing the screen for half an hour, my child has tears for 2 to 3 minutes. So what would be the remedy for this?
See, if your child is feeling eye strain after half an hour, so ask her to keep her eyes closed for a few seconds and blink them and look at a far distance. And usually, if there is nothing else, it should be relieved. But if you see it as a persistent thing that giving relaxation, giving breaks is not helping, then do rule out a refractive error. A child may be having an underlying spectacle number.
Okay, sure. So are there any particular lubricants that you would suggest for children generally?
See, generally the compound is carboxymethyl cellulose. If you're going by a generic name, if you want to go by brand name, there are various good brands like Refresh, Tear, Systane, Ultra, or Gentile.
All right.
You can go with generic name so that nowadays people online order, no, so generic name is always better. Carboxymethyl cellulose.
Okay, now since it is the lockdown time and children are not, it's not recommended for kids to go out. Is it possible for the children to, or the parents to give some exercises at home? One of the exercises Dr. Vidyashankar has already informed, because right now they might not even be able to take them to a doctor for an eye test. So unless and until they realize that there is a number which is coming up, until then, if there is a possibility for the children to do some eye exercises at home, some short exercises, can you recommend, doctors?
See, children always have a very good amount of innate accommodation, which they are going to be able to maximize, and not that may be able to overcome a refractive error for a short time. Doing this convergence exercises, as I had demonstrated, is going to go a long way in helping the eye strain. But looking straight, up, down, to the various sides, rotating to the right and then to the left, all these things are going to help in the overall health of the eye. Also, having good leafy vegetables, carrots and things like that is also which is going to be rich in vitamin A, is something again which is going to be helpful as far as the eye health is going to be concerned. Trying to avoid touching of the eyes, touching of the face, especially in these corona times, is going to go a long way in helping, because whenever I might consider my hand as the cleanest part right now, but I would have touched the table, I would have touched the computer, so it is not as clean as I think it is. So if I'm going to be scratching my eye, like children generally, even if they're going to be sitting in front of the computer, they will keep squashing their eyes and things like that. That's also going to get some amount of these fomites into the eye, and that is going to increase the amount of itching in the eye.
All right. Thank you for that. Again, a few other questions which we might not have taken due to the time constraints, and parents and teachers might still be typing. That can be answered by you doctors in the question and chat box even after the session is over, and the viewers can take their answers from there. So thank you so much for all your inputs, Dr. Hemlata and Dr. Vidyashankar. Thank you for coming and helping us at this online forum. We are aware of your packed schedule, especially when you must be trying to maintain distance between patients and your hours might have stretched out beyond compare at your clinic. But you have accommodated us in this busy schedule to help our students and their parents and our teachers as well. Teachers are equally affected because they are also teaching for long hours. So I'm sure all will vouch for this, that it has been a helpful session. It has been a great help to all of us. Thank you for the session, and thank you for sharing your expertise with all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Take care and all the best.
Thank you, doctors. Bye, everybody. Take care. And thank you for sharing your expertise with all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Take care and all the best.
Thank you, doctors. Bye, everybody. Take care. Okay. Am I still